You reach for someone, and the moment they reach back, you flinch. Not because you don't want them close, because you do. Desperately. And that wanting terrifies you, because the last time closeness arrived, it came with danger attached. This is the approach avoid engine. Two drives running at full power inside you at the same time. One that says come closer and one that says get away, and neither one is lying. You genuinely want connection, and you genuinely fear it. Not because you're confused about what you want, because you want two opposite things simultaneously, and both are real. This is disorganized attachment. The attachment style that forms when the person who was supposed to be safe was also the person who was frightening, when the source of comfort and the source of threat were the same human being. And the child system, faced with an impossible problem, I need to go toward the person I need to run from, never resolved the contradiction. It just held both drives at once. And it's still holding them. In this video, we're walking through 9 signs that the approach avoid engine is running your relationships. This is a self-assessment. Count the signs that resonate. At the end, we'll tally. Not to label you, to help you see the pattern clearly enough to work with it. Number 1. Someone gets close enough to matter and something in you detonates. You don't plan it. You don't want it. But the sabotage comes anyway, picking a fight over nothing, going cold without warning, finding a fatal flaw that wasn't there yesterday. The closeness triggered the approach drive and the avoid drive simultaneously. And when both fire at once, the system doesn't choose. It short circuits. The sabotage isn't rejection. It's a circuit breaker tripping because the system received 2 contradictory commands at the same moment. Hold on and let go. And the aftermath is always the same. Guilt, confusion, and the quiet devastation of having destroyed something you wanted. You didn't want to sabotage it. The engine did. And the engine isn't malicious, it's protective. It learned that closeness at full strength is where the danger lives. So it trips the breaker before the current can reach a level the system remembers as lethal. If this one resonates, mark it. We're tallying at the end. Number 2. New person, instant elevation. They're perfect. They understand you. Nobody has ever seen you like this. And then, weeks or months later, the pedestal develops cracks. Not because they changed, because the approach drive exhausted itself, and the avoid drive took over. The idealization isn't delusion. It's the approach engine running at full power. Finally, someone's safe. And the pulling away isn't fickleness. It's the avoid engine catching up. Too close, too exposed, too much to lose. The cycle feels like instability, but it's actually predictable. Approach, then avoid. Pedestal, then exit. The engine runs the same loop every time, and the person on the other end has no idea they're riding a pattern that started decades before they arrived. Number 3. You create situations that test whether someone will stay, not consciously. But the tests happen. You push a boundary and watch. You withdraw and measure how fast they follow. You present your worst and see if they flinch. The testing isn't manipulation. It's the approach avoid engine's version of due diligence. The system needs proof that this person is safe before it commits, because the last time it committed without testing, the safe person turned dangerous. So the tests run. And the cruel paradox is this. The tests are designed to be difficult enough to fail, because if they fail, the avoid engine is justified, and if they pass, the approach engine gets a temporary green light until the next test. The testing never ends because the proof is never sufficient. One past test doesn't override a childhood of evidence. Number 4. Calm feels suspicious. Stability feels boring. Or worse, it feels like the silence before the explosion. The child who developed disorganized attachment lived in unpredictability. Love and danger alternated without pattern. and the nervous system adapted not to calm but to chaos. It learned to feel alert in volatility because volatility was familiar, and familiar, even when painful, is what the system knows how to navigate. The effect: stable relationships feel wrong, not logically, somatically. Your body distrusts the quiet. A partner who is consistently kind produces not relaxation but anxiety. When is the other shoe going to drop? The chaos isn't something you seek. It's something your system recognizes as normal, and it mistakes recognition for safety. And you can test this in yourself. Think of the most stable, consistent person in your life. Does being around them feel like peace? Or does it feel like waiting? If the steadiness produces not relaxation but a low hum of "this can't last," that's the engine reading calm as the interval between storms. Not because calm is dangerous, because calm was never the ending in the original system. It was always the middle. Number 5, the sign that defines the engine. Both are true. Both are happening at once. You're lying next to someone and simultaneously wanting to merge with them and wanting to disappear. You're in a conversation and feeling both the pull of "stay, this is good," and the push of "run, this is dangerous." And you can't resolve it because the drives aren't sequential, they're simultaneous. The approach and the avoid aren't taking turns. They're both screaming at the same time. This feels like confusion, but it's not confusion. It's the engine doing exactly what it was built to do. Hold two contradictory truths at once. You want closeness. You fear closeness. Both are installed. Both are valid. And the paralysis you feel isn't indecision. It's the engine revving both drives against each other with the transmission in neutral. Number 6. Someone you care about tries to have a deep conversation, and your system goes offline. Not by choice, not because you don't care, the opposite. You care so much that the emotional intensity triggers the overload. Because in the original system, the person offering emotional connection was also the person whose emotional intensity was dangerous. Comfort and threat came from the same voice, the same face, the same arms, and the child's system, unable to run toward and away at the same time, found a third option. Freeze. Leave the body. Go blank. Protect by going nowhere. The adult version: your partner asks how you feel and you dissociate. Your eyes glaze. Your words disappear. You're physically present and emotionally absent. Not because you're avoiding the conversation, because the conversation activated both drives at once, and the system resolved the conflict by shutting down. And the person across from you, the one who just wanted to connect, experiences your shutdown as rejection. They don't know the shutdown isn't about them. They don't know your system went offline because it was trying to solve an equation from childhood. How do I receive comfort from someone whose closeness my body reads as threat? The equation has no solution, so the system crashes, and both people are left hurt by a problem neither of them created. Number 7. The avoidant and the anxious live in the same body, and they take turns running the show. Monday. You're independent, self-sufficient, walls up, untouchable. Nobody gets in. You don't need anyone. Tuesday. Someone hints at leaving and you're flooded with panic. The walls crumble. The need is enormous, desperate, and immediate. Please don't go. I'll be whoever you want. Just stay. This isn't two different moods, it's two attachment strategies cycling because neither one resolved the original problem. The avoidance strategy protects you from being hurt by closeness. The anxious strategy protects you from being destroyed by abandonment. And because the original wound involved both, closeness that was dangerous and abandonment that was devastating, both strategies activate. They just can't both run at the same time, so they alternate. And the person standing next to you experiences whiplash while you experience vertigo. Number 8. The relationship that burns brightest feels most real, not because intensity is love, but because that's how love felt first. In the original system, love arrived with adrenaline attached. The caregiver who held you was also the caregiver who frightened you. So the nervous system paired affection with activation. Love equals heart racing, breath quickening, system on high alert. And when a calm, steady person offers love without the adrenaline, it doesn't register. Not because it's not love, because it doesn't match the original template. The effect, you're drawn to chaos love. The on-again, off-again, the volatile, the unpredictable. Not because you enjoy suffering, because your system has a template for what love feels like, and the template includes the racing heart. Steady love feels flat by comparison, not because it is flat, because your reference point is a storm, and this is one of the most misunderstood aspects of disorganized attachment. The person isn't choosing chaos. Their nervous system is matching a template. When someone calm and kind offers love without the adrenaline spike, the system doesn't register it as love. It registers it as absence, something missing. And the something that's missing is the danger, which means the system learned to associate love with danger so thoroughly that love without danger doesn't feel like love at all. Number 9. Each relationship gets a different version of you, and you don't know which one is real. With one person, you're confident and distant. With another, you're clingy and insecure. With a third, you're cold. With a fourth, you're warm to the point of merging. The versions aren't chosen. They're produced by the approach-avoid engine calibrating to each person's specific threat level. Someone who triggers the avoid drive gets the distant version. Someone who triggers the approach drive gets the clingy version. And you, standing behind all these versions, don't know which one is actually you. The answer the engine doesn't tell you. All of them are you. The approach version is real. The avoid version is real. The clingy version and the distant version and the cold version and the warm version, all of them are genuine responses to genuine drives. You're not fake. You're a person whose attachment system contains 2 contradictory programs, and the program that activates depends on who's in front of you. And the exhaustion of this is particular. You're not performing different versions by choice. The engine is producing them automatically, calibrated to each person's specific frequency. You don't get to choose which version shows up. And underneath all the versions, there's a quiet question that never fully resolves. Who am I when the engine isn't calibrating to someone? The answer is there. But the engine is so loud, so fast, so constantly running that the person underneath it rarely gets the floor. If you've been counting 7 or more, and the approach-avoid engine is likely a significant part of how you connect. 5 or 6 means the engine runs in specific contexts, certain relationships, or certain emotional intensities. 3 or 4 suggests elements of the pattern without the full engine. But here's what the tally doesn't tell you, and what matters more than the score. Disorganized attachment is not a life sentence, it's a pattern. A brilliant one, actually. The child who developed this system was solving an impossible problem. How do I bond with someone who is both my safety and my danger? And the answer, approach and avoid simultaneously, was the only answer available. It wasn't dysfunction, it was engineering, under impossible constraints. The engine doesn't need to be destroyed, it needs to be understood. Because once you can see the 2 drives running, once you can feel the approach firing and the avoid firing and recognize them as 2 old programs responding to an old situation, you create a small space between the drive and the action, and in that space, choice lives. You can approach without the flinch winning. You can stay without the sabotage firing, not by overriding the system. By earning its trust slowly, the closeness doesn't have to include danger, that the person reaching for you isn't the same person who taught you to flinch. At Inner Lens, we map the engines nobody told you were running. If this one resonated, start with our attachment overview. It covers all 4 styles and helps you see where you sit. It's right here.